All right, so we're live now. Namaste, everyone. Welcome to the Hindi University. This is me, Ashutosh. As you know, we meet every Sunday, 9 a.m. US Eastern, and we study the Hindi language and we pick various topics and we reflect on those. Um, Lately, we've been working on a Hindi book project, as most of you know. So all of us are working collectively. Not only we're learning Hindi, we're also working on a Hindi book. So people who are interested in learning Hindi, they can get inspired with the work from all the students, and they can start learning as well. So this is basically nothing but a chapter 6 of our Hindi book, in which we will be learning about using uh, you know intransitive verbs in the past tense. So if you're new to Hindi, don't worry about it. There's a lot of stuff for you also to learn. Don't get intimidated by some of the complicated words. Our objective is to make it simple as we go along in the class. Okay. So just want to quickly make sure the audio is good on the Facebook Live. Just give me a thumbs up to make sure you can all hear me properly. Um, all right. So the audio is good. Um, so let's get started. As I mentioned, I encourage all of you, if you're interested in learning about this Hindi project and if you want to be part of the Hindi book, definitely contact me, and we'll make sure your work is reflected on the book as well. So when we started with chapter 5, we pretty much learned on how to use some of the verbs like transitive verbs in the past tense. Okay, so for those of you who are completely new to Hindi, we'll start with very basics. So as you guys know, I'll take a verb as an example. Chalna. Okay, chalna is to walk. Okay, chalna, and the way you write it in Devanagari is ch, and then la, and then na with a, chalna. Okay, so when the sentence is fairly simple, such as I walk, life was simple, and all you would do is मैं, and then you will take from the infinitive verb, you will take this part and you will say मैं चलता हूँ for a guy, and मैं चलती हूँ for a girl. Okay, very straightforward. In English, you simply have walk, walked, walked, right? And in now, if the sentence is written in the past tense, you will say in English, I walked. Okay. Now, in Hindi, the situation gets tricky because there is no one rule in Hindi for past tense. You really have to see the verb that you are, talking about. Is it a transitive verb or an intransitive verb? Okay, and that's when a lot of us kind of struggle. How do we find out if the verb in question is it a transitive verb or intransitive verb? Okay, and that's where we, in the last class we focused on just transitive verbs, and we also learned some of the rules to determine if the verb is transitive or not. Okay, um, in this class, we'll focus primarily on intransitive. Okay, to recap, if you remember, I eat. Eat is another kind of a verb. Okay, and in Hindi you will say khana is to eat. Khana, and you say मैं खाता हूँ for a guy, and मैं खाती हूँ for a girl. Okay, I eat. Okay, now one way to look at transitive verb is that there is always an object. This is your subject, this is your verb, and let's say you have an apple. Okay, this is your object. I eat an apple. Okay, so subject is performing this action which is directly received by this object. Okay, I eat an apple. Another way to look at it is like I eat something. I eat something. So, if you can think of a verb plus something and that makes sense, that means it's a transitive verb. Okay. You cannot not eat something, right? There has to be an object, right? Similarly, I drink. Let's say the formation is something like I drink. Okay, I drink something. Usually, I will say I drink, glass of water or a glass of soda or something like that, right? I drink something. Okay, or I study something. So whenever there's a direct object, which you can use the verb and say something, and if it is making sense, that means it's a transitive verb. Okay, and if the formation of the verb plus something is not making sense, that means it's an intransitive verb. Now let's look at the examples of intransitive verbs. Okay, so I'll show you some of the examples. So what if your example is nothing but walk? Okay, so let's say sometimes as I mentioned, you say walk, I walk, but you don't say I walk something. Okay, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really make sense. It's the incorrect formation. Okay, there is no direct object that you'll be using when you're using the verb walk. Okay, similarly, if you're using the verb, let's say sleep. Okay, you will not really be using an object with this verb, direct object. That's an intransitive verb. Okay, think of more verb that you can think of, and we will determine whether it's an intransitive verb or not. Let's say I smile. You don't say I smile and then something after that, or I cry, you know, and then something followed by that. Okay, so all these verbs, where there is no direct object, that is receiving the action, those are called intransitive verbs. Okay, so I hope this distinction is clear, and this will help us basically uh, make sure the upcoming what we will be discussing in the class now will be clear to everyone. And if it is still a problematic thing, let me know, and I'll elaborate a little bit more on that. So the first thing I want to do is basically quiz you guys. So I'm gonna write down some verbs here, and you have to tell me which is transitive and which is intransitive. Okay. So this quiz is between transitive verbs versus intransitive. Some of the verbs can be tricky and they can be both, but don't worry, we'll not focus too much, at least for this part. Okay, so first one I have is to write or to write, which is likhna. Okay, second one I have is uthna, which is nothing but, let me write down, to wake up. Uthna. Okay. Third one I have is to see, which is dekhna. And the fourth one, so I'll write down the numbering so that way it's easier for you. And the fourth one I have is nothing but to travel. It's basically guna. Um, Actually, okay, right. So these are the four verbs. I want you to just go over it sequentially and tell me which of these verbs are transitive and which of these are intransitive. Okay, and if you need any help, I'm here. You can ask questions on the Facebook Live as well as on the Google Hangout. Okay, so I'm getting some answers. I have to tell you, the last one is a bit tricky. It really depends on how you're using the verb. But the rest of the three should be very straightforward for you. So give your best. Use the chat box on the Google Hangout, and you can write down your answer. Okay. Elan has shared her answers. Let's see what other people think. Let's focus on just this one. This one, right? What do you think? Is it a transitive or intransitive? Right? When you use this verb, I write. You write something. You write a letter, or something, right? I mean, so when we have a direct object, it's a transitive verb. So I'll write it as a transitive. Transitive. Okay. So I think most of you have written it correctly. Transitive. What about wake up? Uthna. Okay. Uh, when you usually use it, you say I wake up. You don't say anything after that, right? You can say I wake up in the morning, but there's no direct object receiving that. Okay. You don't say I wake up something. So this is basically nothing but an intransitive word. Intransitive. Okay. What about to see? Take now. I see something. I see, or I watch a television, or I see a picture. Right? There's a direct object. I see something. So that makes this particular word a transitive word. Fourth one, I travel. Okay. Usually, when you say I travel, you say I travel somewhere, not something, right? You say I travel to India or Paris or Switzerland or anything, right? I mean, you or Malta. You don't say I travel something, which makes it intransitive verb. Okay, so I hope this further strengthens your understanding, and you will know why I'm focusing more on give me just 1 minute. So you will know why I'm focusing on this distinction, because the rest of the class is completely focused on that. Like once this distinction is clear, you will automatically know how to use the verb conjugation properly. Okay, so with that in mind, let's dive directly into how the verb conjugation happens, in the past indefinite tense. So now you know the difference. I'll continue to use my original verb that I used, which is chalna. Okay. So give me just 1 minute so I can. So if you remember, to walk is chalna. Okay. Now, when you are saying I walked, it really depends on how do you say that. If I'm saying it, I will say main chala. Okay. If let's say Chelsea, if she's saying it, she will say main chali. Okay. If a group of boys are saying it, they'll say hum chale. Okay. And if a group of girls they're saying it, they'll say hum chaleen. Okay. So how do we know that? It really so in the past tense, if you're using intransitive verb, your subject is influencing the verb conjugation. Okay. And now we will see how the verb conjugation happens. So if your subject is masculine singular, I'm just going to make a small table for you. Okay. Or if your subject is masculine plural, and then you have a feminine singular and feminine plural. Okay. And once you understand it, the structure will be same for other intransitive verbs as well. Okay. So as I mentioned, uh, If your subject is masculine singular, you will put a at the end to the root of the word. A. Okay. So what you do is like you have chalna. So your root is this one, chal. Okay. So you will put chal and then a at the end. Okay, which makes it so your root is this part, chal, and you will put a at the end. So you will say मैं चला. Okay, I walked. Okay. Masculine plural, a group of boys. Okay. You will say at the end of the, the root of the word, you will put a. Okay, a. I'll write it as a. Okay, so which means chal plus a. Hum chale. Hum chale. We walked. Simple, right? Now, what about if, let's say, I say one girl is saying it, let's say Chelsea is saying it, right? So she will say just E at the end, E. Okay. So basically, it means base verb, chal, and then E. So she'll say मैं चली or वह चली, she walked. Okay. You're simply putting E at the end. And then last one, feminine plural. If all of you, group of girls, you're working together, you will put, there is a nasalized sound here. So it's E. Same thing, but there is a nasalized sound. So you will say chali, hum chali. Okay, or ve chali. I'll write it down in Devanagari also, so it is clear to all of you. Right? So as you know, when you write chalna, you will have chala and then na. Okay. For masculine singular, you will put chala. So it's cha and then la. Chala. Okay. For plural, as you know, it's a. So you have a base cha and then le. Chale, hum chale. And then chali, as you know, it's straightforward cha and then li. Okay. And the last one is cha and then li with a dot because there is a nasalized sound. Chali. Okay. So let me just take a quick pause to make sure everyone is okay on the Facebook front. Let me know if there are any questions or comments. Okay, so I hope this is becoming clear to all of you. What I want to do is I want to quiz you guys with some interesting example, and I want to see whether you can use this and conjugate the verb accordingly. Okay. So now I have another verb for you, which is basically to arrive or to come, which is nothing but ana. Ana is to come. Ana. Okay. So what I want to do is, I want to remove this, and let's say you want to use this word ana for all the different kind of nouns. Okay. So let's say if I want to say I come to India, I will say मैं India आता हूँ. Okay. What if I want to say I came to India? Okay. Or she came to India, or they came to India. Okay. It's a past tense. You can tell that you are using the different form of the verb. But English is straightforward. You're simply using came. Okay. Hindi, as I mentioned, it gets trickier. First thing you will know, you have to figure out whether ana is a transitive verb or intransitive verb. Okay, and because you say I, you don't use I came or I come. You don't say something after that, right? So it's intransitive verb. So think about these four scenarios and tell me if I as like Ashutosh is saying it, masculine singular, what will be the word conjugation? As you know, the root of the verb is are. There's a slight variation which I'll tell you, but I want you to write down four different form of this verb. So before I move, there's a question. Masculine plural is chale. There is no T there. So the T doesn't fit here. Chalte, it's it's a present indefinite case. Like hum chalte hain. But let's say same thing you are saying it for past tense. Like hum chalte hain is we walk. But what if your sentence is we walked yesterday? Then you will say hum chale. There is no T. Okay. You're simply putting a at the root of the verb. Okay, very good, right? So write down the first one I have is Jenny has already attempted it. I want you to try the other forms as well. So in this case, you will say I came. Okay. In this case, you are saying they came. Okay, masculine plural. Feminine singular, she came or she arrived. And then you're saying, let's say, group of girls, and you're saying, let's say, girls came. So I hope this is further clarifies my question. Give it a try. As I mentioned, there is no negative marking. Okay, very good. Okay, so in this case, it will be you putting a at the end. Okay, now I didn't tell you this rule, but the root of the verb here is a, just simply a, which is nothing a vowel. Okay, so whenever the end root of the verb is a vowel, you will put instead of a, you will put ya. Okay, so you will say aya. So your base verb is already there. You'll just put ya at the end. So you'll say मैं आया. Okay, मैं अमेरिका आया. I came to the US. Or मैं इटली आया. I came to the Italy. Okay. Um, I hope this is clear. Okay, so pay attention to it one more time. I came in the morning. मैं सुबह आया. Okay. Um, what if it is like we came in the morning. हम सुबह आए. So you will put base verb and you will put IA. हम सुबह आए. Okay. She came. वह आई. Okay. And then a group of girls. लड़कियां आई. So you will put EEN. आई. लड़कियां आई. Okay. You will not say nay here. That is one thing which I want to further clarify. Because it's intransitive word, you don't put nay or any postposition. Okay. For transitive verb, that was the case. Okay. And another thing is like in transitive verbs, your object was determining the verb conjugation. In this case, as you can tell, it's all subjects. If a subject is masculine singular, if a subject is masculine plural, and similarly feminine singular and plural. Okay. So I hope this is getting much and much better. Let me see if there are any questions on the Facebook side. Very good. So I'm really happy to see folks attempting on the Facebook front. And if there are still some questions, don't worry about it. As we start practicing sentences, I'm very sure. Just keep this table in front of you as I'm going through different examples. Okay, because this reference table will help you formulate many sentences. So let me erase everything, but you just take this, as I mentioned, keep this in front of you. Okay. So now starts the interesting part of my essay. And towards the end of the class, I ask everyone to to send me your essay, and I'll make the corrections, and it will become part of our book. Okay. So the first sentence I have, or rather my essay of things I did, um, you know, let's say my first sentence is I walked 10 miles yesterday. Okay. I walked 10 miles yesterday. And I want you to, you know, take a look at this example and break it down and translate it in Hindi. For folks who are completely new, just focus on this part. I walked. And I won't give further hints. Okay. Gilan, you're saying it for yourself. Okay. So you use the verb conjugation accordingly. Very good. Okay. So as you know, to walk is chalna. And you will be using the base form. Okay, very good, right? So as Chelsea and Jenny pointed out, it will be, for if I'm saying it for myself, it will be मैं 10 miles, or in Hindi you will say mil. Okay, मैं 10 miles, and I will say the base part chal, and then I'll put मैं 10 miles chala. Okay, for girls, you are saying मैं 10 miles chali. Okay, and because it's yesterday, you will say, you'll put kal here. Okay, you'll say मैं कल 10 miles चला, or मैं कल 10 miles चली. Okay, again, just to repeat, it's very simple. You're just taking the base part chal, and then you're putting, if it is masculine singular, you're putting a at the end. If it is feminine singular, you're putting e at the end. Okay, so it's chala and chali. Okay, let's move on. Another example I have is, and if you want to get creative, you can use different kind of pronouns here, or subjects here. Like you can use they, or we, or anything you can think of. Okay. The second one I have is, I woke up at 6 a.m. I'll just overdo it in the morning. When you say 6 a.m., it's morning, but I just want to make it a little tricky. So I woke up at 6 a.m. in the morning. So give it a try. And for those of you, the verb is nothing but uthna. To wake up. To wake up is uthna. Uthna. So Jason, you have to really see what's the base part here. The root verb is, you'll remove na. Okay, so it's just ut, and there is no vowel here, right? Utha, tha is not a vowel, right? So in your case, you will simply say main. Very good, right? So in case of Jason, he will simply say main. If it is simply I woke up, it will be main ut and then you just put "a" at the end. मैं उठा. Okay, if there is nothing else in the sentence. And in case of Yilan, she will simply say मैं उठी, or nothing but uthi. Let me put it this way. So you will say utha, you're putting "a" at the end, and for Yilan, she's putting "e" at the end. Uthi. Okay. मैं उठा for Jason, and for Yilan, मैं उठी. Now, because we have other things in the sentence, you will say मैं सुबह 6 बजे उठा, and for Yilan it would be, so this is masculine singular and this is feminine singular. मैं सुबह 6 बजे उठी. Okay, sometimes I write I instead of double E. That's completely fine. Don't worry about, don't get too picky about which are you using, as long as the pronunciation is correct. Some textbooks they use I, some textbooks they use double E. For me, as long as the pronunciation is okay, you can go either ways. Okay. Let's see if there are any questions before I move on to the next sentence. So I don't see any questions. So let's move on. Stay with me. There are more and more interesting examples coming up. And as I mentioned, by the end of all the examples, I'm fairly confident that you'll be able to quickly pick up all the, how to say the intransitive verbs or use them in past tense. The next one I have is I slept at 10 p.m. last night. Okay, and again, for those of you who are new, to sleep is sona. So don't put N at the end, Jason. The root verb is this part. Okay, so very good, right? So last night, right? So so you'll say, if it is very simple, you will say मैं सोया for a masculine singular, or मैं सोई for a feminine singular. Okay, if you want to keep it very, very simple. Okay, I slept. Now you want to say at 10 p.m. last night. Okay, so you can say मैं कल रात is night, and morning is सुबह. That's what we used in the last example. So मैं कल रात 10 बजे सोया. Okay, for a masculine singular. For a feminine singular, it will be मैं कल रात 10 बजे सोई. Okay, मैं कल रात 10 बजे सोई. Or you can also say, पिछली रात. That's also fine. As Jenny has written down, that's also correct. You can say, you can use postposition को also. मैं कल रात को 10 बजे सोया और मैं कल रात को 10 बजे सोई. That's completely correct. If you don't write it, that's basically implied that at night, right? At night is रात को. Okay, so let's move on to the next example in the essay. So next one I have, which is the fourth one, is I. Let me make it simple this time, or different verb. They swam in the pool. They swam in the pool yesterday. Okay. To swim is तैरना. Okay. To swim is तैरना. Okay. तैरना. Very good. So I can see, I'm really happy that all the speed is getting much better. All of you guys are quickly coming up with the sentences. So I'm really happy about that. Okay. So as you know, the base verb here is this there. Okay. And because this is, they, if you're using it for masculine plural, it will be tere. And if you're using it for group of girls or feminine plural, it will be terine. Okay. So for they, it's nothing but they. For those of you who are not familiar with the pronoun, it's they. Okay. So for they, tere, tere. For masculine plural, ve tere or ve. For feminine plural, it will be ve teri. Okay, so it's nothing but te and then re with a dot. Ve teri. Okay, so it will be ve swam in the pool. So you can say pool mein, in the pool. Okay, ve pool mein tere versus ve pool mein teri. Okay, I hope this is clear as well. And as far as yesterday is concerned, you can fit in anywhere. This is just secondary at this point, right? Ve kal pool mein tere versus ve kal pool mein tere. Okay, let's move on. And as I'm picking up speed, I want you to, to get faster, and because that way you, when you're speaking it, you can, speak it, pretty quickly as well. Okay. So now I have is I came to India last month. Okay, I came to India last month. Or you can also say I arrived in India last month. That's I'm really happy to see lots of comments on the Facebook live. So keep them coming. Oh, to go is jana, but in this game, You can also say arrive. I arrive. I arrive to arrive India. Okay. So, as I mentioned, the word here is ana. Ana is to come, jana is to go. Okay. I'm not doing jana in this class, but we'll focus on the ana. Okay. So ana. So if I'm saying it, will be say main aya. Okay. For a girl would be main aayi. He will be saying main aayi. So aya versus I. Okay, I came. Okay. Now let's make it the full sentence, right? So I came to India. So for me, you'll say मैं India or Bharat आया. Okay, and for Yilan, it would be मैं India आई or okay I. Now last month. Month is mahina. Okay. Uh, Last is pichla or pichle. Okay. Now because you're saying it, you'll say मैं पिछले महीने let me try to fit this thing in. मैं पिछले महीने इंडिया आया. And you also, for girl, you'll say मैं पिछले महीने इंडिया आई. For a girl, masculine singular. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Let me write it down again. This is for masculine singular and this is for feminine singular. Okay. Right. So let's move on. Let's see if there are any questions. So the question is why we are using mahine and not mahina. I, let me not give you the answer and let me see if other people can think about it. But think about it this way: we are inflecting it, right? I mean, we are using. There is some kind of an inflection going on, and we don't see a post position somewhere in the sentence. So either you can say मैं पिछले महीने में इंडिया आया, right? So that post position is basically you don't see it in the sentence, but this particular post position that should be there in the sentence is causing it to do the inflection. Okay, so we can cover it a little bit more towards the end of the class, but the point is, you are using the inflected form of pichla, which is pichle, and similarly mahina becomes mahine because of the post position. Okay, very good question actually. Okay, so I'll do another one, which is number 6. Let's see how we are doing with time. Okay, we have time. So I'll do one more. So now I have I traveled so this one I have I traveled to Delhi, Agra, and Jaipur. Okay, and just to give you a hint, to travel is घूमना. Okay, to travel is घूमना और सैर करना, but you focus on घूमना. Okay, so I travel to Delhi, Agra, and Jaipur. Very good. So very good. So all of you have written it correctly. So it will be मैं दिल्ली, आगरा और जयपुर. For guy it will be घूमा, and for girl it will be, as you write written down, घूमी. Okay, मैं दिल्ली, आगरा और जयपुर घूमा, और मैं दिल्ली, आगरा और जयपुर घूमी. You can also say मैं here. मैं दिल्ली, आगरा और जयपुर में घूमा और जयपुर में घूमी. Okay. Similarly for us, for you can say हम दिल्ली, आगरा और जयपुर में घूमे. Okay. For a group of girl, there will be nasalized sound here. हम दिल्ली, आगरा और जयपुर घूमी. Okay. Or जयपुर में घूमी. So Jason asked a very important question. Like, even though in this sentence there is no may, but in a way there is may, and you don't really have to say it, but it's basically implied, and which is why you were using the oblique case of mahina in the previous sentence, mahine. Okay, and oblique case of pichla to pichle. Okay, so I hope this is getting clearer and clearer. I'll do one last example and then we'll conclude the class. um, and you can see how simply we were able to, and you were able to write it down, all the sentences where we are using the intransitive word. Okay, so this one I have is, my sister ran for a charity. My sister ran for charity, and you can say last month, last year, doesn't matter. Okay. Right. My sister ran for a charity. If you don't know the word for charity, don't worry about it. To run is दौड़ना और भागना. Very good. So anyone else? Ilan, it's to go is jana, right? Or you're using the past form of jana, but try to use dodna or bhagna. Okay. So as you know, the base part here is dod and then bhag. So you'll say Meri बहन और बहन, मेरी बहन एक चैरिटी के लिए you can say दौड़ी, or you can also say bhagi. Okay. As you know, दौड़ना, you write it as दौड़ना. Okay, so you will take this part and you will say दौड़ी, or you can say bhagi. Either of them is correct. Okay. Right. So I hope this class was helpful. primarily whenever we talk about Hindi language, past tense in general, it's a little bit of a tricky topic, but I can confidently say we spent several weeks, clarifying the difference between the transitive and intransitive verbs. We spent a couple of classes also just focusing on, the transitive verbs and how to use, ne with the pronoun. Okay. Now this class was completely dedicated toward intransitive verbs, and a lot of time you will also ask me to give you a list of verbs just intransitive. So I hope this class also provides you some set of the verbs that you can reflect upon. Okay. Um, my ask is very simple from you guys, which is basically write down a short essay, of activities you did yesterday, last month, last year, or anything that you can write it up just completely on in the past tense using the intransitive verbs. Okay, and send it to me, and I'll do the corrections, and it will be the chapter 6 of our book. Okay, and definitely your name will be there, so you don't need to worry about it. And and with that in mind, I'll stop the broadcasting, and I'll open it up for questions and comments or anything. Okay. Thanks everyone for everyone who participated a lot on the Facebook Live. So looking forward to seeing you next week. Okay, bye. Just give me 1 minute and I'll open it up for the discussion. Right. So I'll stop the broadcast here as well, and